Okay, awesome. Welcome. Yet another live stream. I'm your host, Underbelly. Okay, looks like the deadline submission for the contest has passed. Once again, this is the lo-fi contest. I did a video on this last week. Fuck ton of submissions, so I'm going to try to go through these as quickly as I can. I'm going to be a little bit more ruthless than I usually am, so I might not listen to the end of tracks, and I might just say a few words and move on because, damn, we got a lot to go through. So I think last time I left off with Magpie 2000 with Fucking Your Bitch in the Shadow Realm. So let's move on to T with Platinum Hair. All right, take a listen. Right there with you, Zeus. Okay, so it's not really using any of the chords that I mentioned in the video. It seems to be going between just going to an F major 7. And just going between F major 7 and then C sharp. It's not really doing any of the dominant 7th movements or the 2-5-1 that I described in the video. It just honestly doesn't sound very jazzy. But thank you for submitting. It is pretty lo-fi, judging by the drums. So, okay, let's keep going. Excellent picture. All right. Skip ahead a little bit here. So what I was waiting for was the introduction of a bass line to sort of make sense of the chords on top, because your chords on top are kind of dissonant. They don't really seem to be following any sort of traditional intonation or sticking to a particular key or scale. It just sounds like you picked random notes on the keyboard and they sounded kind of good together since you played them. So I just wanted to have the bass line there to show that you demonstrated the theory understanding of what was going on top. But since we never got that, it's kind of hard for me to say that, you know, you really got this or you really got the concepts from the video. So I'm going to keep going, but thank you, Julie LeBas. At the very least, it did have some lo-fi, you know, some sort of lo-fi aesthetic. You had the kind of lo-fi drums, so that's good. But let's keep going. So once again, just keeping in mind, I'm going to be extra ruthless today because, damn, we got a lot of submissions to go through. Next up is Matthew Harwood, not Hardwood, with Breathe. Okay, here we go.
But I really can't do a good job, any job, of explaining magnetic force in terms of something else that you're more familiar with, because I don't understand it in terms of anything else that you're more familiar with. But the problem that you're in. You see, when you ask why something happens, how does a person answer why something happens? But I really can't do a good job, any job, of explaining magnetic force in terms of something else that you're more familiar with, because I don't understand it in terms of anything else that you're more familiar with.
Okay, awesome. So this was a little bit better. Not better as like an objective musical sense or anything like that, but fulfilled more what I was looking for. So it's still definitely for the, firmly lo-fi. We have the the vocal sample or whatever. We have the minimal drums. The chords is what I really want to pay attention to.
You see, when you ask why something happens,
So let's just break that down.
but the problem that you're in, you see, when you ask why something happens, how does a person answer why something happens?
Okay, there we go. Right. So it seems like we actually know what we're doing harmonically. We're starting out with that G major 7 chord, and then we're going to F sharp dominant 7th, resolving down a 5th to the 1, which in this case is B. And you're doing something like that later on. So at least you're demonstrating to me that you're sort of getting the kind of theory that I'm talking about in the video. You have the different kinds of 7th chords, you have this dominant 7th chord, and you're resolving down a 5th to the 1. So that's sort of the understanding that I'm looking for. So far, this one takes the cake out of all the submissions today. Congratulations, Maddie. You get another yes, along with a heart to denote that I sort of enjoyed this. Okay, let's keep going. 23 YSAP Lo-Fi Challenge. Slowing it down. Jeez. Holy guacamole. Jesus Christ. Okay, so that made no sense at all. Okay, there was just no cohesion between any of the elements. You had the right elements. You had piano, you had drums, you had strings, so the elements themselves sounded pretty, but it just made no harmonic sense at all. So can't really say you got anything out of the video. But here's a yes. Okay, let's keep going. check the vibe. I'm gonna give you a yes. So, I mean, if you guys can't already tell, he's doing the classic 251. Sorry? There we go. Fuck me. Sorry. Let me just bring that back a little bit. Don't even know my own shit. Okay, so looks like we're going. Oh, okay. So we're back. Yeah, my computer, I guess, could not handle all the lo-fi-ness. Um, well, what can you do? Alrighty. So, back to business. Hopefully you guys can continue to hear this. Anyways, Phaserville. That was solid. I think you did a good job there. Let's get the grand piano going. looks like the central progression is... Yeah, that's basically it. So we're going 2-5-1 in the key of E. Unfortunately, Chordy's not working. Looks like I have to restart that. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, guys. Okay, so we're doing 2-5-1. Okay, so let's just go ahead and verify that. I want to make sure I got that right. You fulfilled the, the requirement of what I was looking for. You seem to use the, the kinds of chord progressions that I gave in the video and expanded on it. So perfect. Okay, let's keep going. Meet. Let's take a listen. Hello, Meet. All right. So it sort of feels like we're applying the kind of chords that I described in the video. It seems like you're sort of doing a 2-5-1 in the key of F. So that's all good. It just feels like the beat could be developed more. It is very, very lo-fi, but almost too much so. It's kind of all muddied sounding. Lots of cool reverse effects. Feels trippy. Just I think you could have done more with the track. However, still seems to vaguely fulfill the kind of chords I was looking for, so that's all good. Let's keep going. Oh, jeez. 5 minutes. I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to make it through this. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man. I'm not sure if this demonstrates the kind of understanding that I was looking for, because it seems like you've just taken this one chord and pitched it up and down. Kind of just taking this one chord shape and just sort of moving it up and down the scale, which kind of makes sense. It seems like you sort of got the kinds of seventh chords I was looking for. But not really ordering them in the way that sort of makes harmonic sense. It just feels like one chord shape is moved up and down. Also, the drums are very far away, especially your snare feels really quiet. And I'm going to take a gander here. It's probably not enough musical information to sustain over 5 minutes. So, yeah. I'll give you a yes. Let's keep going. All right.
Why, I wouldn't let her stay.
Cool. So you fulfilled the assignment there. I feel like I'm fucking a school teacher. Not I'm fucking a school teacher, but I am a fucking school teacher. So yeah, you got the 251 in exactly the same key that I put it forward in the video. So I totally get that you internalized it. You used the technique, so that was really good. It's a solid track. Fulfills the contest requirements. So I mean, does it do much more than that, though? Does it go above and beyond? Not necessarily, no. But it demonstrates to me that you have at least got something out of the video. So I'm going to give you a yes there, and let's keep going. I think I already roasted this one. All right. I already roasted this one. I think it's solid. It kind of definitely demonstrates to me that you understood it. I guess this is a newer version. I like it. That lead is a little too detuned for my taste. But it works. So I'm going to give this a yes, since I already gave you a proper roast last time. But awesome, Taekyon. Good work. Okay, lots of emojis on this one. Let's hear it. So this is really interesting. It's sort of like lo-fi combined with that funky sort of harder bass there. So you definitely put a unique spin on it, which is nice. And the chords are definitely feeling very lo-fi and sort of in the style that I'm looking for. It didn't feel like the bass was always quite listening to the chords on top. It felt like it was a little too all over the place, doing its own thing harmonically. Of course, we do have a little bit of leeway there. It can be quite funky. But I think you're veering a little too far away from supporting the chords. And I think it's a solid start, but I think you could have developed the beat more. Try adding a melody, for example. All in all, though, the mix is solid, and you did put a unique twist on it. So I'm going to give you a big boy yes, and a cute little Kit Kat for brightening my day. So thank you, Leogenic. Let's keep going. Illustrated Periodic Table of Elements by Yo. Okay, Jesus Christ. Oh man. Okay, here we go. So, it just feels like there's a lot of stuff going along, a lot of unnecessary sampling and percussion. It just makes the whole thing sound very cluttered and sort of hard to tell what's going on. I mean, lo-fi usually is pretty damn minimal because we need to fall asleep to it. But right now it feels like, we took the wrong element on the periodic table of elements here. Perhaps uranium? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to give you a yes there. Thank you for participating. Doesn't quite fulfill what I'm looking for, but let's keep going. All right, so we got BG by Kawaii 10. Let's take a listen. Okay, I'm going to skip forward a little bit here. Okay, so it seems like it's pretty much the exact same thing throughout. Kind of a woozy, spacey, something that could definitely fall asleep to / study to. But once again, doesn't really demonstrate to me that you watched the video or got anything out of it. Just seems like you submitted some lo-fi song that you made previously and decided to see if it would fit for the contest. The sound selection is cool. The lead is nice, but it feels like it's going a little too all over the place. Probably took too much uranium. So doesn't really quite fulfill what I'm looking for, but I think you have some solid sounds in there. I think you could take that and maybe apply some of the concepts from the video and develop it further. Okay, Rupert, Bait and Switch, let's take a listen. Oh, brother. I can't really hear what's going on. Okay. I'm not really sure if this is lo-fi. Once again, this just feels like you submitted some track you made a couple days ago and thought, why not? Fuck it. So I'll give you a yes, but maybe an angry egg. You're making me feel like an angry egg, BG. Okay. Oh, sorry. I gave the angry egg to the wrong person. How do I Okay, here we go. So angry egg to you. Okay, let's keep going. Mindfulness. Here we go. Trying to practice my transcendental meditation right now. Okay, let's take a listen. But I mean, it doesn't really use the chord ideas that I was talking about. It doesn't do a 2-5-1 or anything like it. It's just going 2-5-1. I mean, it is technically doing a 2-5-1, I guess. But although this feels like the 1, so it feels like a 5-1-4, something like that. So it doesn't quite feel like it could be this. Sorry. So I think this for this would be yeah. That's sort of more of the style of chords that I was looking for. Once again, using like those dominant 7th chords, stuff like that. We don't quite get there, but it's a solidly produced track. You know, good mixing, good sound design. The chord progression you do use is effective, so I'll give you a yes to that. But let's keep going. Some lofi jizz hop. Can't wait. One in the key of B minor. All right. So, I mean, fulfills the assignment. Hey, thank you, Otto. Thanks so much for the donation. I really appreciate that. So, yeah, fulfills the, you know, what I'm looking for. It's got the 2-5-1 in the key of B. Very much taken from the video. So I think it's solid there. I mean, it doesn't do much more to impress me. I mean, it's got all the components that you need of a lo-fi hip-hop track. Could there have been more polish? Yes. Could it, you know, sound a little fatter? Yes. Could you have brought the drums out more? Yes. But in terms of fulfilling what I'm looking for, I got some good cheap jizz. So thank you for that. You know, I'll look for you in the future for all my future jizz needs. By the way, this app is called Chordy. I believe it is $25 or something like that. Very useful for teaching and breaking down chords. So yeah, awesome. Highly recommend you guys check that out. Okay, XD. Lil Wayne's Solitude, You're Such a Dude. Let's take a listen.
'cause I used to be out walking around and I made you see my mistakes. I cut your place. I took the higher stakes. It's just that. It's just sad. very early song.
Cool. So, solid chord progression does get a little bit monotonous after a while. The track doesn't do that much. I like how you're having fun with the vocal, though. That's a welcome, welcome addition. I don't know if it's fair to assume the gender of Solitude. It is 2019 after all. It seems like you had fun with this. So, I commend that. Was it the most, blowing me away or whatever? I think you could have done more to develop this. Maybe gone into a B section. Maybe opened up the drums a little bit. It does feel a little bit muffled. But it seems like you know what you're doing with the chords and you had fun with it. So I'll give you that. Yes. Oh, look, Barack's got some heat for me. I guess I'll check that out later. Okay, Kid Music with Jazzy Lo-Fi Challenge 521. Not quite the right order, but let's take a listen.
521 Jazz Challenge. Sounds interesting. Let me try with some beat. Sounds fine. Not my jam though. I prefer something more like
Nice. Yo, that was actually pretty dope. I love how you're roasting your own track in the middle of it. Yeah.
Sounds fine.
Sounds fine.
Not my jam.
Not my jam. So funny. I love that. Seems like you know what you're doing with the chords for the most part. There's a little bit of dissonance, a little bit of the bass not quite listening to the chords on top. But, it seems like you have some understanding there, especially in the second half. I think it comes together nicely. I think you could have done more to sort of raise the energy level of the second half. Perhaps maybe making the drums more active or adding a lead layer or maybe some strings. But I think for the most part, it demonstrates your knowledge of theory and lo-fi. So I'll give you a yes to this. Keep on the good work of critiquing your own tracks. It's like, I feel like we should, start doing, how like movies, like if you get the DVD, it comes with commentary while the movie's going on. I feel like we should do that for albums, just like, fuck, I hate this preset. Like, oh, I just really wish I'd changed that chord progression. That's not funny. Okay, let's keep going. Cordango with Fall Breaks. Take a listen. Okay. I'm not quite sure if you're knowing what you're doing harmonically. It seems like you've sampled the piano from another track. Maybe you sampled it yourself playing. I don't really know. But I'm feeling that the bass, once again, not quite lining up harmonically with the chords on top. So it just feels a little bit messy and dissonant in that sense. Very much lo-fi though. Got the drums going and everything. I'm just not sure if it really quite demonstrates to me that you know what you're doing with the theory. So I'm gonna give you a yes. But I promise I'll play. I'm a little confused, but I'll promise I will play a little bit of Dutzers when you figure out your theory. So there's hope there. Okay, let's keep going. This is Mail Club with Low Flying Plane. So this feels more like a kind of old school hip hop, like not lo-fi. Like imagine lo-fi 20 years ago. Like lo-fi. I think you have the 251 in there. I think you're doing the 2, 5, 1, and then you're going down to some sort of augmented or something like that. So I think you have some understanding that you demonstrate, but the bass, the upright bass, is sort of going all over the place, and it's just a little too active. I'm also not sure if you're really going to be doing enough in those 3 minutes to sustain the full length of the track. But I think it demonstrates at least some understanding that you got it. It's just see if you can rein in that bass to sort of support the chords without being so active. Anyways, I'll give you a yes. Okay, here's my lo-fi attempt. Wanted to mess with minor. By the way, it's really nice when you actually type in something, instead of just giving me a link. It makes me like you more. So, wanted to mess with minor 251, learn some voice on guitar, but couldn't resist going major for small T B section. Okay, a B section. Jesus Christ, you're fucking spoiling me. All right, let's take a listen. bada boom. Okay, so that was Nagoon Berry's music with Wineglass. Damn. I think you transcended lo-fi there. I think you might have even gone straight into jazz and or hi-fi. Wow. So harmonically, I mean, with the chords, you're doing a really, really great job. It seems like you've nailed that. So that's all really, really good. The one issue I'm noticing is that the timing on the drums is a little too sloppy. So comes in every once in a while. Yeah. I know it's lo-fi, I know it's supposed to be sloppy, but I think you could use a little bit more quantization on the drums, especially in that section where the ride and the kick aren't quite aligning. Sometimes also your kick lands a little early before the downbeat, a little late. And so as a result, it's we want that sense of swing and liveliness, but it just feels like a little too, messy at times. Now, as far as the lo-fi aesthetic, I'm not quite even sure if it fits that necessarily. Even though the chords are above and beyond what I'm looking for, it doesn't quite feel so lo-fi just because of the sonic character of the elements. Don't quite match the genre that well. However, major props on the harmonies and the chord progressions. Musically, it's like probably the strongest thing we've gotten so far. So give you a big ol' yes and a nice under party. Jesus Christ. I'm not the one who came up with these emoji names, by the way, but that one took me by surprise for sure. Okay, really good, really sensual. I want you to take me on a date. Okay, let's keep going. Lo-fi contest inspired me to blow my flugelhorn at maximum melancholic mood. Okay, let's take a listen. Yo, that was fucking awesome. That's the best one I've heard so far. You know for sure what you're doing with your chords. It's very, very musical. The swing is absolutely insane. I know I complained about the swing in the previous track, but I think here it really works. Everything is so off kilter, and your sidechain is so crazy, and the distortion is maybe a little too crazy, but it's one of the most unique lo-fi-ish things that I've heard in a really long time. It's very unique, super musical. I love the strings, I love the horns. I felt like, somebody in the comments was like, oh man, Chance is gonna start spitting over this any second now, and I totally feel that. It's just like, yeah, really, really, really well done. Very unique. Perhaps some of the swing and the distortion is a little too crazy, but honestly, I think you get away with it because it's just so musical and interesting. So, fuck yeah, man. I'm going to give you a big, big heart because you did a really good job and I love you. Oh, by the way, I mean, I'm looking for talent here, guys. I'm thinking about starting actually my own label, non-lo-fi label, just called We Suck at Producing Records. So, because I think there's a lot of undiscovered talent on the Discord, and I just want to give some shine to it. But awesome. Thank you so much, Obsidian Trumpet. Let's keep going. Here we have Boom with parentheses, free, lo-fi type beat, girl in kimono. Okay, let's take a listen.
大きくなったら結婚しようってなのにだから
Okay, so I don't think it's going to do much more than that. I mean, it's pretty solidly lo-fi. In fact, it almost has like a sort of trap influence because of the 808 and the drums. Of course, weeaboos rejoice. Every time I see anime girl in a kimono, I get a little flustered. So you have that going for you. But overall, the beat feels very quiet and sort of empty. You've got the sort of minimum basic requirements of lo-fi. You've got anime, you've got Foley, you've got seventh chords, but I think you could do a lot more with this, especially, just compared to the fucking fire we heard prior to this. It's just not quite stacking up to the level of, fullness that I'm looking for, even though technically you check all the boxes. So I'm going to give you a yes. But I'm going to give you an encouraging cat to see if you can push yourself to sort of take it to the next level there. Okay, let's keep going. This is Mr. Compston with My Lo-Fi Attempt ... Probably best not to include the ... One solid period might inspire more confidence in me and you, but let's take a listen. Okay, seems like we're not going to be doing much more than that. So it looks like we're doing 5, 1, 4, 4. So, I mean, you got the 7 chords. Once again, it's sort of just kind of the bare minimum of what I'm looking for. Kind of also feels muffled and a little empty. I think you could just do more there. So if you've ever made lo-fi before, had no idea what those chords were before, props to you. I'm glad you learned. But I think you could just take it a little further there. Add some anime girls. Maybe even some sort of vocal sample. A lot you could do to develop this. So I'll just give you a yes, and let's keep going. Okay, back to anime. 251, if you know what I mean. Let's take a listen with Brother Mac.
I know it sounds silly, dear, but do it for me, please.
Okay. Alright, so you got the 251. Technically, it seems like you're trying to do it in the key of D. But you're not quite outlining or voicing the chords enough to make them really feel distinct, which is a problem because eventually you add this second piano line on top and it sort of is soloing over an already sort of fractured chord base. So I think if you just really kept it simple and made the chords nice and strong, really fill out the voices there, I think that would be a little bit more effective. I mean, you had the anime samples, you had the drums, so you check all the boxes there. Once again, I just think you could have done a little bit more. Anyways, I'll give you a yes. Let's keep going. Elliot Sullivan, go back to reality. Okay. No, somebody does not want to go back to reality. Elliot? Okay, let's take a listen. Barack, help me out here. Okay, so this is not quite lo-fi. Once again, it doesn't quite seem like the bass is really following the chords on top. It's kind of doing its own thing, and just the whole aesthetic feels a little bit more rocky than necessarily lo-fi. So, solid attempt, but not really quite what I'm looking for. Okay, so no, but maybe a yes, just to encourage you. Yes, Elliot, you can go back to reality and make some lo-fi. I believe in you. All right, featuring Amelia Tan. Let's take a listen. So you know what you're doing with the chord progressions. You seem to have some sort of theory knowledge, which is good. Not too much of a fan with the cute anime girl singing over the top with her vocal chops. And I know it is lo-fi, but the drums feel especially muffled. I think you could do a little bit more with bringing those to the forefront. You know, um, possibly introducing some hi-hats or, some little brightness in the mix, just so that it becomes a little less muffled and maybe not rely so much on anime girls. I know that's hard to hear, but anyways, I'll give you a yes. Whew, I'm starting to get a little tired here. I got 15 minutes. Okay, how many do I have left? Jesus Christ. All right, let's keep going. Ooh, that's nice. That was fun. That was fun. I had a good time with that one. It was only 30 seconds. I could tell you had a good time making it. You certainly knew what you were doing with the chords. Felt a little bit more like jazz than lo-fi because it was just kind of fast tempo, swinging. But it brightened my day. So thank you, Ace Bread. If you ever come out with the bread, I will eat it. So solid stuff there. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, next challenge should just be jazz. Okay. So definitely knows what he's doing with regards to the chords. It's a 2-5-1. The angry Frenchman, was, I guess, a unique addition. The mix felt a little, I don't know, weak a little bit. I think the drums were a little too weak. I know, once again, it's a hard balance, right? Because we're trying to make lo-fi music. It's supposed to sound old and vintage, but it's supposed to also match the sort of mixing standard of today. And it's a really tough balance. I only think really only a couple people have done that so far. Most notably, I forget what my favorite one is again. This guy, Obsidian Trumpet. So far, Obsidian Trumpet, you've taken the cake. But yeah, solid attempt. I'll give you a yes. Nothing too remarkable about this one. But, I hope that French man has a nice day. So let's keep going. This is very handsome. Rooster. Let's keep listening.
Kann etwas verdichten, dass uns etwas urplötzlich klar wird, dass es in aller Reinheit, Schönheit und Klarheit vor unseren Augen erscheint. Und genau das passiert in dieser Szene.
So this definitely fulfills the lo-fi aesthetic. You got the vocal sample on the vinyl crackle. It feels very warm and fuzzy. I want to take a call with you. I want to lay down with you, have a nice time, talk about football, German. So that's all good. Doesn't quite have the sort of jazzy chords that I'm looking for, as I was describing in the video. No, there's no real 2-5-1 or anything similar to that, harmonically speaking. And I feel like the drums could offer a little bit more pop and development, and we don't really do much new musical information at the end there. But it's got a nice vibe. It's well mixed for the most part. It feels warm and fuzzy, so I'll take a phone call with you. Why not? Take a yes and phone. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. We got Melon to take a listen. Damn, that was pretty. That was a very pretty melon, Lemon. Yeah, it was very emotional. I mean, you had the 2-5-1 as I described, but you played it with a guitar. You had the beautiful piano, the strings. I love how you faded the things out at the end and drowned it out in reverb. It's very romantic and heartfelt. Not super jazzy, but I could picture having a couple of drinks and being sad drunk and maybe looking at old love letters and maybe having a phone call with Shaf. I mean, it was very emotional, very romantic, very melancholy and forlorn. So there's a lot of good emotional storytelling that you're doing here. I don't think the bass sound fits. I think you could do with a much more simple electric bass, acoustic bass perhaps, upright bass. It's a little too synthy for everything else in the composition, which sounds quite organic. You could also make the drums a little bit more lively as well, but it was really solid. Yeah, looks like you have a full song version of this, which is interesting. Might check that out, but from what you got going on here, I'll give you a big old yes. And a big heart, because you made me have the feels with that one. Okay, I think this might be the last one that I'll do today. Let's take a listen with Tias. Jesus fucking Christ. Whew. All right, so I'm gonna give you a big ol' yes because that was crazy. Damn, definitely had this dude has some jazz training. Didn't need to watch my video for a fucking second. In fact, he probably should have done the video himself. Holy guacamole! I'm gonna study that on my own. And, you know, drool over it for all those amazing chords that you have going on there. Just like musically, it's on another level. Very, very jazzy. Is it lo-fi? Sort of. Not really, I guess. It kind of is veering a little too far, maybe because it's just too good. Too musical, perhaps. It doesn't quite have the mix standard of lo-fi. You know, the sort of wooziness, the vinyl crackle, the sort of distorted boom bappy drums. I think you have some of that, but I think there have been other submissions that have improved on the sort of lo-fi mix quality. In terms of fulfilling that sort of lo-fi aesthetic, I mean, even you acknowledge that it's not quite there. But damn, so musical, really, really strong. All the changes were crazy. I'm gonna have to take some time to study this because that was insane. Man, maybe I could take a lesson from you. Shit. But really, really well done. Wow, definitely one of the strongest contenders here. Amazing work. Cool. All right. So keep that in mind. Not quite sure if it's lo-fi, but definitely in my top 2 so far. Okay, Doug the Mole Man, lofi hip hop. All right, let's take a listen. Nice, amazing chords, really beautiful performance. I think the drums could do more though. The placement of the snare was a little awkward at the end. I think somebody mentioned that in the comments. I think the drums could be fatter, more in the forefront. I think you could develop the track a little bit more by adding new instrumentation. I'm only saying this because I want to push you. I know you can do great work. So maybe some strings in the background or some bells, you know, really kind of bring out the drama. But musically, the heart of it is just really, really strong, really beautiful stuff. So thank you for that, Doug. Okay, that about wraps it up for today. Thank you all so much for participating and being in the chat. I really appreciate all the submissions and all the good work you guys have been doing. Luckily, we have plenty more to go through, so I'm probably going to be streaming again pretty soon in the future. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to head out. Thank you, Barack Obama. Have a great day, guys. Peace.